Welcome to the May 2nd Reparations Committee meeting. We have a quorum. We bring this meeting to order. We are going to start with our ancestral acknowledgement read by the author, Committeewoman Claire McFarland.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
With great humility and deep gratitude, we honor the strength, endurance, and sacrifice of our Black ancestors. We honor those enslaved African people whose forced labor was exploited for generations to help establish the economy of our region and the United States. We honor those Black ancestors who persevered despite the discriminatory laws and practices that created a racial caste system, legitimized anti-Black racism, and continue to plague our community today. It is only by recognition and understanding of these errors begun during our nation's origins and continuing today that we can hope to correct our path. We acknowledge this exploitation not only of minds and labor, but of our humanity. We grieve for those Black ancestors who, despite their contributions to this city's wealth and freedom, were never recognized, fairly compensated, nor allowed to fully realize their own sovereignty. Because of their work, we are here and will invest in the descendants of that legacy. And through this process, we work to repair some of the harms caused by the city of Evanston. We also hope our focused attempts at reparation will serve as an example to the United States government and prompt other institutional accomplices to begin the process of repair.
Thank you. Next, we're going to move on to item 2A. May I have a motion to approve the committee meeting minutes from April 4th?
I move for the approval of April 4th Reparation Committee meeting minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Welcome, Committeewoman Lockhart. No discussion. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. We're actually going to push back 3A. Our presenter from Liberty Bank is en route. She's actually called. There's traffic in an accident, so she'll be here safely as soon as possible. We're going to move on to item 5A, and this is communications from our working group leaders. And let's start with is Councilmember Reed in the virtual space on the economic development. Do you have anything to report?
We're in the process. We're in the process of working with Dr. Twila, who presented at the last Reparations Committee meeting, working to get our contract.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on that? We're excited to see that move forward. And then we have Committeewoman Attorney Claire, Community Unity.
Yes, the Community Unity Group will be meeting this month. We're on a quarterly meeting cadence with special meetings that can be called in between for, special matters. The meeting will be assessing how we can support the. We had a discussion earlier about epistemic reparations project. We thought that was a mouthful for our community, so we've proposed changing it to the truth-telling project, and we think that will be more accessible to our community. And hoping to roll out in a more formal way the larger program. Some of the peace circles have already begun, with the first one being held in March. So we also want to thank, I want to thank as on behalf of the Reparations Committee, Steve Haviland, who has, is Steve here? Oh, there you are. Steve Haviland, who has volunteered to assist. This is I think it will be popular. We hope it will be popular, a big lift of our offerings. And then our first meeting, our main meeting this coming month, our Community Unity members will be sort of breaking down tasks with how they can support this. So we hope to be able to announce a firm schedule for some of the other events shortly. So just wanted to inform the community, please look out for that. And we hope that in this offering you'll find some different things that will appeal to you to participate in this. And then another part of healing we focused on some atonement and restitution. This is a satisfaction and sort of a healing, and hopefully also moving toward cessation of anti-Black practices to a greater understanding in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Such an important and key component to repair, satisfaction. Are there any other needs for volunteers or community partners? This would be a great time to share that, if so.
I think that we will get back to you after Steve and I are brainstorming, and we're going to set out some different categories. I would really be remiss if I didn't thank Matt Feldman, who has had meetings and who is also helping us. And he connected me with Steve and is also looking for volunteers with specific set of skills to help with that.
Awesome, thank you. Is there any other discussion? Next, we're going to move on to a report or update from the Education Working Group.
Good morning, everyone. So we meet monthly, and we met with administration from ETHS last week, or maybe it's been 2 weeks now, Steve. I see Steve is our connecting point, and that's awesome that we have somebody interwoven in all the different working groups because they can share what everyone is doing. So we met with ETHS and we're looking at some programming. I don't really want to get ahead of our discussion, but some programming in the community that we believe might help meet some of the needs of the educational barriers that we find people of color, most definitely Black Evanston residents, dealing with. So I don't want to get too in front of what we're working on, but I'm excited about the possibilities, so everybody's out researching how we can implement this program. And once we get there, I'll talk about it more. I don't want to put the cart before the horse and get people excited. So there's some ground level work that we have to do, but we have a great team, and once we're done working with ETHS, we're going to see how we fold the community, Northwestern, D65, everybody into this programming model. So we're really excited about it. Am I right, Steve? Are you excited about it? Okay, awesome.
I'm excited too. Is there any other discussion from the committee? No? And Committeewoman Bonnie Lockhart?
Yes, good morning, everyone. The Housing Committee also meets monthly, and we are planning a Community Education Day on Saturday, June 22nd. So we're still in the planning stages, but please be looking out for more information to share some of the resources that many Evanstonians may not be aware of, that the city is providing, and that are provided just in the larger area. So that's going to be very helpful.
Awesome. Any discussion? Yes.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, I didn't want to step on. I just forgot something very important, and I think it probably pertains to all of our groups, which is, I think we have, we've said this before, but we can't say it enough, to thank Tashik for the work that she does supporting the group. And with the Epistemic Reparations program down the road, we'll put together a fantastic document that's really going to help us be very accurate about our budget. I know that took a lot of work, and I'm sure Gagas from Tashik, but hard work for down the local. So I want to thank both of them, and I'm sure that we can each pass the mic around and discuss different things that she's done for our initiative. So thank you.
Many thanks to Tashik always. Committeewoman Lockhart, were you done? Was there any discussion? I want to lift up, and this is in a separate role that I have, but it needs to be said. It's back to Tashik as well. I was able to go for a third time to the United Nations recently to present their case and demand for reparations and make recommendations to PFAD, which is the Permanent Forum of People of African Descent. It is a forum that is housed in the Human Rights Commission at the United Nations. And I was able to represent Evanston, the work that's being done here by this committee, and with the leadership of Tashik. My recommendations included that the forum create a guidebook, resources, the glossary for other communities around the African diaspora to learn about not only what's happening in Evanston, but in other places. And this is important because of the amount of requests Tashik gets. Tashik gets direct requests from communities all across the United States that is asking for our best practices, our path forward, our process, our challenges and barriers, and so on. And so I just want to lift up Tashik again because she's the one that fields those calls on behalf of the city of Evanston. And I'm hoping that this happens and maybe you'll have a lighter lift, but I can't make any promises, probably not. But I did my part. So I just wanted to lift that up. And I also want to lift up a daughter of Evanston, Elisa Walker. Elisa Walker is an incredible young leader. She's a third year at Hampton currently. And she is a member of the Reparations movement here in Evanston and now internationally. And so she led an organization that I'm a part of in our official visit to the United Nations. So I want to lift up Elisa Walker and her leadership there. And moving on from there, are there any questions about that from the committee? Yes.
No, just one other comment. I also heard Sunday that Attorney Cummings
Yes.
was also there. The guy pulled me over. He said, "You got him fired up, son."
Yes.
He was there at United Nations. So I'm glad to see that people have left this committee and are still doing instrumental work in making reparations nationwide. Thank you, Robert.
Of course, thank you so much. Yes, Attorney Cummings, you know, he's off doing great things other places. Congratulations to him on his new role as incoming president of the Bar Association. Was it the
Cook County Bar Association.
Cook County Bar Association. And he too answered the call and need for support of reparations and was in Geneva as well. So thank you to so many that are leading, but Elisa and Nick, myself only, are able to do these things because of the work that this committee is doing and the support of our city council. And I cannot express enough how important it is that we have a supportive city manager. And I know I probably said that in the last meeting, but other cities are stalled, they're blocked, they're not getting support because their city manager offices are not providing the support, leadership, and resources that are necessary. So another shout out to City Manager Stowe. Moving on to, perfect, welcome to council members and committee members Reed and Burns. Thank you for being here. We can go back to Councilmember Reed. If you have anything to add to the economic development update, Tashik gave a report on the process getting the contract. If there's anything else to add, please unmute yourself and add.
No, I didn't want to add anything to that. I just wanted to, we're going around saying, giving appreciation to folks. I just really wanted to, thank you, Chair Bruce Simmons, for the expertise that you're bringing back to our community. It was wonderful to hear about you and Nick and folks like Lisa being in Geneva representing the work that we're doing here and representing Evanston. So just thank you as well.
Thank you so much, colleague. And Councilmember Burns, did you have anything to add for housing? Councilmember Lockhart did give a report, but if you have anything to add?
No, I would imagine that Ms. Lockhart talked about the event that we're working on.
Yes.
Okay, so we should be all good. And then we're also working on a survey that we want to send out to the beneficiaries to make sure that the event is tailored specifically to their needs. So we're working on that now. We have a meeting, what's today? I think today, later today, to go over the survey and finalize it. So that will probably be the only add-on.
Thank you, Councilmember Burns. This is so important because this next group of recipients, the 454 direct descendants, are more likely to have immediate needs for financial services and products and literacy and all the great things I think you're going to do in this event. We're going to move on to item 5B, Tashik.
So in regards to our direct descendant update, of the 80 direct descendants that we were going to distribute funds for calendar year 2024, city staff has met with 70 of those recipients, and 65 recipients have made a selection. And we have a few that goes back and forth between homeowner improvement, cash, so that's why the fluctuation in numbers. But it's just one or two.
Incredible. Any committee discussion on that?
Some of my classmates have been the recipients and they're just overjoyed. And the fact that they can use the money for different things has been their greatest joy. So, many thanks to all the members of the community who pushed for that cash benefit, and now that we have.
I attended some of the meetings just to get a better understanding, and very impressed with the staff who present the information, answer questions. Again, that's an added request that we have on their duties. And they've done a great job in making sure that people understand, answering questions, just being available to help the community understand. So, as Tashik said, we've gotten through 70 of the 80, and it's now those 10 we're waiting for their schedules to adjust and for them to make a decision on how that money will be allocated to them. So, it's been a good experience.
Awesome. It's been exciting to hear from all the recipients and their families and their friends and the community that hasn't even received, but just the hope that it's bringing. Next we have item C. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, we're gonna take action on that. We need a motion to accept and place on file.
I move for the acceptance of the report of the descendant.
So moved, or second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Next we have item C.
For our ancestor recipients, no change there. We have 129 recipients that have made a selection. 3 small affidavit are pending for those individuals that are deceased and are just waiting to process their small affidavit. And we're still unable to contact 30. So.
Can every committee member meet with Tashik afterwards? This is a small community. I know I was able to come up with contact for the first few that were missing. We probably are a person or two removed from those people. We could reach out to their families. So if everyone on the committee after this meeting could meet with Tashik and find out who they are so we can identify these 3 people. May I have a motion to accept and place on file?
Move for the acceptance of the ancestor reparation report.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. And we are going to move on to D, Tashik.
So for the reparations fund, as for May, we have received $52,457 in donations to the reparations fund. We haven't gotten donations since January, so the number was the same for a while. As for the real estate transfer tax, we had our largest amount of fund transferred to reparations fund in April, which makes sense. So $737,155 has been transferred to the reparations fund. And the goal is to get to $1 million. We've expended a lot of funds for the direct descendants, so the funds is catching back up. So.
Incredible. Is there any community discussion on that? May I have a motion to accept and place on file for the reparations financial report? Okay, perfect. Motion passes. I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. My little rusty.
You're excited.
Right. I'm excited because Miss Wendy has come back, so has made it here safely. Thank God for her safe arrival. So we actually have postponed item 3A, and we had made a very, very big statement and commitment. We were able to make that announcement at our last committee meeting. I really regretted that community member Tina Payton wasn't here, because I wanted to run and hug her and let her be the first to know that your advocacy, your leadership, your relentlessness in making sure that we got this done prevailed. And after much work with our leadership here at the city and an incredible partner in Liberty Bank, including their bank president, Todd McDonald, and our personal leader, Wendy, who you'll meet, the city has committed to transferring the reparations fund to a black-owned bank, which is Liberty Bank. There's been a lot of press coverage on this, and there haven't been any interviews from the committee, so there's a lot of misinformation in the press, but it's all good. It is all good. The transfer is happening. I think some of the misinformation is obvious. We're not a state fund or a municipal fund and some of those types of things. But I just wanted to publicly thank you, Ms. Payton, for coming and having helpful critique of the committee and actionable recommendations, and making sure that we don't lose sight of our goals on the committee. So thank you for that. And we will invite Wendy up to, if you can actually go to the podium, I'll bring you a microphone. Oh, perfect, thank you.
Sugar Electronics. Actually, my mother worked for this company for 40 years. Yeah. So, good morning, everyone. Good morning. I start there, and again, my name is Wendy Rice-Smith. I am the regional vice president for Liberty Bank, what I consider to be the boots on the ground here in Illinois. I am super excited, really, to be here on behalf of Liberty Bank. For those of you that aren't aware, Liberty Bank is the largest Black-owned financial institution in the United States. We have been in business for 50 years. And we have $1 billion in assets, and we are operating offices in 12 states. We have a national charter which permits us to do business in all 50 states. So for us, there aren't any boundaries. A little history about Liberty. Two pioneering Black men in New Orleans recognized that there was the same thing going on in New Orleans that was going on in Evanston. Redlining, no access to capital, home ownership was not available. And so they moved to do something about it. And they started the bank. They got a charter. They bought a trailer. They ordered some cash, and they opened the bank in 1972. And since then, with the mission, the primary mission, to teach minorities how to be homeowners and how home ownership leads to wealth, generational wealth. And that's really what this fight is about. And so I wanted to share that piece with you because it's a similar story. As a minority institution, we fight to remain relevant, solvent, As you may or may not know, there's only 18 black banks remaining in the entire United States. And Liberty has made it its mission to remain an asset to the black community. We do what all the other banks do. We have retail banking, we have commercial banking, but we're missional in our lending practices. We're small enough to know you by name. And I will also say to Ms. Payton, thank you for coming out and meeting with us, and seeing what we're all about. As I'm sure you can attest, when you join Liberty, you join a family. You know, we don't just see you as an account or a loan. We see you as a relationship that you can trust, resources that you can go to. That is our mantra. And so, of course, with having the opportunity to support this initiative, to be the fiduciary institution, we are super elated and humbled by the opportunity to serve in this way. Not only the reparation piece, but the holistic piece that we may be able to provide to families. And so I'm very happy to be here today. Again, we're full service. A lot of people say, well, you know, where are your branches? How many branches do you have? And then my response to that is, when was the last time you were in a lobby? I've been in banking personally for 40 years. I started as a teenager, it was my calling. At one point I even tried to leave the industry and just got sucked right back in. That's when you know it's your calling, right? And so I've seen the evolution from banks being a destination, lobbies being full of people, to now, and as Ms. Payton can attest to, she pretty much had the branch to herself. That's just how few people we see on a daily basis. And that's throughout. And so, Liberty Bank, as you or may not know, we was impacted by Katrina. That was the first and only year we did not make a profit. And going through that, we had to become virtual sooner than we wanted to. And so, where most community banks are still working their way to remote platforms and things of that nature to deliver services differently, we didn't have a choice. Our customers were scattered all over the place. And we needed to give them access and service. So, for those that may be wondering, you know, well, how is this all going to work? The same way it's working for you at your other institution right now. You never come into the lobby. So as long as I can keep your debit card working, I'm sure you'll be fine, right? So again, I'm sure, you know, we are going to be working with the city, with the Reparation Committee, to finalize this transition. We're doing that as we speak. And Again, I want to thank the community for its advocacy for this opportunity. Thank you. Yes, sorry.
I'm just too fired up right now. Can you talk anything about right now, or maybe we need to wait? We're hoping that you could join committee member Bonnie Lockhart for the event that they're going to be hosting to talk about the programs. But in terms of like mortgages, because we've already been getting inquiries about financial services and products specifically. And then could you share, and you may have I missed this, contact information?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. So again, you know, home ownership has been the heart and really foundation for our institution. So we actually have first mortgages where you can put as little as 3% down. We are FHA lenders. We actually, you don't have to have the best credit score. Our average credit score is about 620. And so we really do make it very affordable. We can portfolio mortgages. We're privately held. Maybe I should mention that. Why is that important? You know, when you're privately held, you kind of get to make your own rules and you can do some deals that others can't. And so, you know, we don't just put our clients through a metric. We have a human being look at every transaction. And we look at ways to make it work. And we advise in that capacity. So absolutely we have residential loans, we have home equity loans. One of our signature products really is our credit card. And it's a signature product because we're one of the few organizations to still offer a credit card at 9.9%. And the reason why we do that is we recognize that unsecured debt is really what impairs people to get out of debt. And so we offer that because we recognize that if we could lower your rate, we can help you expedite that payoff. So we offer that and invite folks to, if they're interested in canceling debt, consolidating debt, we have credit building products. Literally, quick story, I had a veteran wanted to be a homeowner. He had his voucher, which is like a gold card because you don't have to put any money down on a home, but he had no credit, none. And so he walked into the lobby and, you know, he would always come in there and make his deposits. And then we started talking about it and I said, okay, look, this is what we gotta do. I said, you gotta take, let's say $500, and then we're gonna put that $500 in a savings account. And then I'm going to give you a credit card against this savings account. And all I want you to do is buy your gas with this savings account, with this credit card. And every time you get the bill, I want you to come see me so that we can manage and get you a credit score and get you a home. So it took us about 18 months. I stayed in partnership with him personally because I wanted to see him win. And so those are the types of things that we do. Yeah.
Perfect, thank you. Is there a specific contact?
Oh, I have some business cards here. I don't have a lot, so often I say you can take a photo of it. That's what I do with business cards these days. I just take a photo and then I have it. It's easy to keep up with. So yes, I'll leave that for everyone. And but
Can you say it?
yes. Okay. So my number is 708-776-2656. 2008. 708-776-2008. That's my direct line.
Incredible. Now we have the direct line to a VP at the bank that is also environmentally conscious. So
and I answer the phone, right, Ms. Baker? I answer the phone, right?
Wonderful. Questions from, or comments from the committee?
Yeah, just a couple.
Yeah.
If we are, first I want to thank you for being part of a historical change. We as a community have seen these kinds of organizations come and go, starting with the Freedmen's Bureau. That started after the Civil War and ended during Reconstruction. We've also seen several banks established and not that successful on the south side of Chicago.
Seaway,
Independence, South Shore.
You got it?
Every time I drive by those buildings today and see them vacant. So then I have three concerns. One, what kind of capital investment do we have to make here on the North Shore to get a branch? Two, where can we purchase stock? And three, more important than that, the kinds of credit on the credit card should be expanded. I've had my same credit card from Arkansas for 35 years, and they just raised my rate to 10%. And they want to know, why don't you use American Express and Visa? Because I could not get a credit card until I graduated with a master's degree.
Oh, wow.
Every time I applied, I was denied. And the only reason I got it, I graduated from University of Massachusetts, and they gave every graduate an American Express card.
Wow.
So I'm very concerned about the kinds of ways that we need. And also, our previous mayor became economically successful as a result of Katrina. So we have a lot of tie-ins, historical and with business. And thank you, and Tina. That's what I said. We should just pass the baton to you black women in economics and sit back and go system.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, you know, it's so interesting. As I was driving here, and I planned to talk to Robin in the city, I said, you know, we need an office in Evanston. So I promise you that's already, you know, and it doesn't have to be a big office, you know. The evolution of a branch is really becoming more of an advisory, you know, space, because people, once you get the tools, financial tools in their hand, and even after you get a mortgage, I mean, really all you're doing is making a payment, right? And that's all automated for the most part. But what we are finding is that people just need advice. They need advice on their life cycle, on their strategies, on what it is they're trying to do, and they need that from their banker. So I'm already, my wheels are turning already about, you know, is there space in this building? I'm all about quick execution, like, okay, look, what's the first easy step to get a presence here? And so
We'll find you one in the fifth.
That's right.
okay. There you go.
You got a little, no, many more. I love it. Thank you. Is there any other comment? Councilmember Burns?
Yeah, I just wanted to echo a similar sentiment to Mr. Sutton that, you know, you hear a lot about black-owned banks closing, not really in the opening, which should tell us all, you know, the challenges faced by this institution, and so hats off to Liberty for being able to sustain itself, making the necessary adjustments to remain, you know, competitive and relevant in, you know, in today's market. Hats off to you, and thankful that we as a city are now, you know, working with the bank and depositing in it to help continue to sustain the bank. I'm just also curious, when you say black owned, and this is just for my own understanding, are when Liberty says that, is it referring to its owners, its investors, especially initial investors? Is it talking about the board of directors or both?
Yeah, the shareholders. Yeah.
And then, and
The
what about
majority
the board?
shares are owned
Is
by
there a board of directors?
the two original, our chairman, Dr. Norman Francis, he was the president of Xavier University. So after he started the bank, he handed the leadership and growth to Mr. Alden McDonald. Alden was a little over 23 years old when he got tapped by Dr. Francis. He has been the president from day one. He built it. He's in his 80s. He's still moving around every day. He has passed the torch to his son, but both Dr. Francis and Alden McDonald are the main shareholders.
Okay,
And they are the original founders of the bank. Yes.
Is there also a board of directors, or is the bank owned only by its founders, or how is there a board of directors?
Yes.
So how is that board of directors composed? Is that also kind of black?
Minority, 100.
Okay. Yep.
We are through and through.
Through and through.
Through and
That's
through.
right.
Black.
I wanted people to-
I mean, don't get me wrong, we certainly hire talent, right? So it's not,
Of course,
if,
yeah.
if whoever has the talent that we need, if it's on the construction side or whatever side, we do hire talent, we have some, but we are, I'd probably say, on our board, we are 100% minority, majority shares are owned by minorities, and our workforce is easily 95% minority, who we do business with, our vendors, we seek minority vendors. That is just our mission. It's our mission. We are all about really how do we feed Black households. That's how we think, and that's how we operate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's not by chance that, we have outreach to Liberty Bank for this partnership. So thank you, because of those values and the value add that it brings to the work that we're doing here in Evanston. And we understand that these deposits helps your entire community that you serve. So thank you very much. Any final comments from the committee? Okay, with that, thank you. And we'll see you after the meeting.
Yes.
Perfect. We generally don't, because this is a presentation, let's make an exception.
Sure.
Yes.
Hi, would you be able to meet with myself and my sister afterwards, or are you pressed for time?
Well, I think you would want me to meet with the city so that we can continue the work of getting this deposit relationship and the process for I'm here today for that. But what I can do is schedule a separate, I don't know if you guys can do Zoom, but we could do a Zoom call and I can talk to you personally. Is that okay? Yeah, you can have a card.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So we're going to move on. Let's see, there was no action there. And I believe that concludes our agenda. We can move on to actually public comment. I don't have the list, but I know that list includes Miss Tina Payton. So why don't we start with Miss Tina Payton? Okay.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I would like to say thank you and congratulations.
Okay.
This means a lot because we deserve this. And I feel that I have been hurt. And I speak for many of us that are afraid to speak and don't know what to say and don't know how to say it. But partnering with a black bank has been number one next to the cash payment, and you have successfully done both. And I thank you, and our community thanks you. I can't say anything more positive about Wendy. I did meet with her, and she's a gem, and she will help you. She will listen to you. I've never had anybody listen. They just hear you and, oh no, we can't do this. No, 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 no. But she listened to everything I said. And I know this will be a successful partnership between the community and Liberty Bank. I also want to talk about the support for our Black Evanston residents. We need to stop gentrification. We need to stop displacement. We need to stop discrimination. So I hope that this committee will step forward in supporting the Evanston residents, Black residents. We're leaving town fast. I didn't want to bring it up because it's very controversial, but I will anyway because that's who I am. Wesley residence is a crime scene. We need to support this moving out of Evanston, and these people mostly were senior citizens, Black residents that have been in Evanston for over 50 years, like myself. I've been in the same house. This year will be 54 years. And if someone told me to pack your bags now, I wouldn't know what to do. We need to support retention of our Black people in this community. And I hope that this committee will not just pass out dollars, but help retain our community and stop the gentrification and stop the discrimination. And I will continue to follow this and push for this as I've done everything else. I want to thank everybody, Chair Simmons, that you partnered with Wendy and Liberty Bank. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Payton. And that's exactly why we do this work. Yes, thank you, Ms. Payton. Thank you so much. Exactly why we do this work, exactly why I called the question in 2019, because of the exodus. It's not brand new. It didn't just happen with Wesley. It's amplified with Wesley because of the concentration of properties and residences in those three buildings. But this is something I would like to request because this is, I think, the second time it's come up. And I want the community to know that you're heard, and I would imagine that those three properties were near 100% Black. I don't know for sure, but I know that they're predominantly Black just based on them being my neighbors. I live in the neighborhood. I would like a report, and I don't know where it will come from, so help me out with this. From community development, maybe community development. Councilmember Burns. Councilmember Burns, if you could give us an update on what is happening with the Wesley properties, and if there is a way that this committee could be supportive. We want to make sure that we don't overlook that, or if we can even be an advocate. Anyway, we just want to make sure that we're not dismissing it, and if we could do that at our next meeting, that would be great.
Robin, I want to follow up on that. Yes, they were registered voters. Many of them that I've talked to will no longer be in the 5th Ward. So we're losing a voting block as well as residents. Tina and I have offered apartments, and next we found out again, black landlords who have available units did not have access to assist these tenants. So there are things that we need to talk about. Yes.
Councilmember Burns, as you prepare yourself or direct staff to give us an update, if that update could include the partnership with the city and Connections, and what Connections is doing to support that effort as well, because we can't be dismissive of these types of claims, not at this committee. Councilmember Burns, is that something that you could help us with?
Absolutely, and what I would also ask is, on a human level, is that we all please be patient, be thoughtful in how we understand this situation. Do not be quick to judge. Do not be quick to think that you have all the information, because you may not, likely do not, because there's been a lot of different parts of this. And just please, and I'm saying this not as an alderman, at a basic human level, let's be decent to one another. Let's listen, as Ms. Payton said, to one another, not just hear each other, but listen to each other. Because again, and this comes up a lot, there's just so much misinformation being spread. None of the seniors have relocated at this point. They're all still in the same apartments they've been living in for as long as they've been living in. Nobody's on the street. All the residents that have moved, and there's been about 5 or 6 residents that have either moved or have signed leases and have move-in dates. I would say the vast majority we found units for them in the 5th Ward, I think 1 or 2 in the 8th and 9th Wards. But everybody who has moved has found a unit that is better than the unit that they have now, because the current building is providing substandard housing. It's not just the steps, it's electrical, it's plumbing, it's substandard conditions, and they deserve better. So every single resident that has moved into a better unit than they're in now. And the rent, and we committed to doing this from the very beginning, is subsidized by the city. And they've all taken us up on that. So nobody is paying any more than 30% of their income towards rent for the first year. Some people are paying a lot less than that. But nobody is paying any more than they're paying now. But the benefit is that they're all in better conditioned units than they're in today. And most of the tenants that we moved are families with children. One, because I think they were a bit more motivated to work with the city because they have children in the school district. They need to get stable. They need to make sure that kids can remain in the school district. Many of our seniors are also the lowest, are low income or fixed income, so it's taking a little longer to find them units. But they're not on the street. They're still in the same unit that they lived in for however long they've been in. And that will remain so until we find them a unit that's suitable to them. We are working 9 to 5 on making sure that they don't spend the night on somebody's couch, a night, anywhere else other than on a pillow, in a bed, in a unit that is for them. And we've delivered on that up until this point. So absolutely, we can provide a written report. Our community development department can do that. Our health department is also working closely on this issue. But I want to make this very clear. We are, aside, the noise aside, we are taking good care of the residents. And if you were to ask anybody that has moved, they will say that. And anybody that has available units, Chair, to your point, that's what we need right now. We need quality, good condition units so we can move them from substandard housing to better housing. And if anybody has available units, please let me know, because we have not, to my knowledge, we have not excluded any landlord from this program unless your rents are just, you know, out of whack, which I don't think would be the case in most cases. But if you have available units that are in good condition and good quality, please reach out. We need units.
Thank you for that, Councilmember Burns, and that's more of what I've been hearing in the community. But it's important that we have those details and a discussion. So we look forward to more information at our next meeting. Councilmember Burns, is there other ways to be updated on this? Are there other community meetings or a ward meeting that happens between now and our next committee meeting for anyone that wants information sooner?
I would say there's a landing page that we can send out through the reparations listserv.
Okay.
And I believe on that landing page, and if it's not on there, we'll provide one. But it's a frequently asked questions landing page with a lot of information. And we'll make sure we add on the page, if it's not already, a way where people can add to it. If they have additional questions that they want the city to respond to, we can do that. And then in addition to that, again, if this committee would like a report and to hear from our outreach workers, especially who are working with the tenants every single day, literally every single day, whether it's storage needs or help with the rental subsidy, we could also have them present as well.
That would be great. Thank you so much for your leadership.
Good morning, Alderman. Do we have a ward meeting scheduled for this month for the 5th Ward?
Yes, last Thursday of the month.
Thank you.
Another great place to get the information directly from the source. And with that, is there any new business from the committee? All right, may I have a motion to adjourn? Before we adjourn, next month is Juneteenth. And so you will receive a newsletter. Tashik will get it out. It'll come out electronically as well as in the mail. Also want to, and it's going to have information about Juneteenth activities. Of course, we have an incredible parade that is in its 3rd, 4th, 5th year, I'm not sure, led by 5th year by Kamon Hendricks. And it's always been a wonderful occasion. So please do at least prepare for that if your schedule allows. I imagine there will be other programming, but we'll make sure to put that programming in the newsletter. If you're having Juneteenth programming, please let Tashik Kerr know, and we can add that to the newsletter as well. And then for all of those that are reaching out, asking questions about reparations and when's the list going to open, what's the next remedy, and all of these things, please, please, please sign up to get the information yourself so you don't have to hear it, be misinformed, or get the information too late. You can do that at cityofelvanston.org/reparations. You can also call 311 if you are in the city limits and get your name added to that listserv. You will receive both an email and snail mail. So please do that. And with that, is there any final comments? May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.